Wherever you're listening in the world, it's a pleasure to welcome you to IsraelCast, the podcast powered by Jewish National Fund USA, your voice in Israel. I'm Steven Shalowitz, first reminding you that for over 120 years, Jewish National Fund USA has been the premier philanthropic movement for the land and people of Israel. While best known for planting trees in Israel, JNF USA contributes to Israeli life in so many ways, including community development in the Negev and the Galilee, preservation of heritage sites, supporting people with disabilities, and connecting high school and college students to Israel. To learn more and to see how you can contribute, do visit jnf.org. Once again, jnf.org. Plus, if you haven't done so already, we'd really love it if you subscribed, rated, and reviewed us, 5 stars, of course. Wherever you get your podcasts, it's so easy. And we'd love it too if you shared the show within your universe. And in just a moment, I'll be telling you why you need to be in Dallas, Texas from November 14th to the 17th, 2024. So listen out for that. But first, what a pleasure it is to welcome Noa Cochva to the program. A former Miss Israel, Noa is an activist, model, and proud reservist who worked for 5 months on the Gaza border as a combat medic. She joins us now on the line via Zoom, and we welcome you to IsraelCast, Noa. And you know, there are so many facets to you and your work. And I'd like really to start our conversation now with your advocacy work and how you were physically attacked here in New York City in Times Square. Can you take us back to that day, Noa? What happened?
Yeah, so first of all, happy to be here. And we were just actually doing regular advocacy work. We were filming videos about Israel, so we had our Israeli flag with us. And all of a sudden, a group of a lot of pro-Palestinian people, crazy people, just approach us and they started tearing down our flags. One guy had a Star of David necklace, they tore it down too, and they started spitting at us, cursing us. And I was surrounded by a lot of guys. They were trying to protect me, and yet they chose one of the guys, the pro-Palestinian guys. He had a protest sign, and he decided to take his like big stick and just try and poke me in my eye. And yeah, and then we just ran away because it was very dangerous. The police didn't really do anything, and I had to go to the ambulance to take ice to put on my face. And the next day I woke up with a black eye, which is to me, I was never even, I've never even seen a fight. So it was very, very intense.
Yeah, and here you are, a reservist, someone that served in the IDF that never got injured, and you have to come to New York City, Times Square of all places, to be attacked.
Yeah,
Just
I know.
incredible. How are you doing now? You're okay?
Yeah, of course. It happened months ago,
Hmm.
and I feel like I've got a lot of questions from people that why didn't you get back home? Aren't you afraid to be in New York? And to me, these kind of things are just the kind of proof that shows us how important it is, our advocacy work here in the
Hmm.
States and in Israel and in general, how much we still have to fight this war, because there's two kinds of war right now, the internet war and the regular war in Gaza and in Lebanon. And to me, it just made me want to do more things, because it just made me want to improve our work, do more, and just because these people, they just judge us because we are Israelis, because we have Israeli flags, because we're Jews, and they don't care about our opinion. They don't care who are we. They see is our ethnicity, and especially because of them, just we have to keep on going.
Indeed. By the way, what is the status of the case? You filed charges, as I understand.
I did. So I filed charges, and then I didn't get any response. And then they did a New York Post article about it. And the news reporter guy, he messaged the police, and then he put a bit of pressure on them. And then all of a sudden, one day after, they got a New York Post article about it. So I'm getting a call from someone in the police, and they're telling me that they're starting to investigate the case, and I should send them videos of what happened. I sent them everything, but they couldn't identify the person, because obviously he was wearing a mask, because that's their way of work. They just wear masks, use violence, and then you can't really get them.
So unfortunately, it's gone nowhere, and the individual that attacked you has
Yeah.
gone, as we say, scot-free.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. That's unfortunately the world that we're living in. And I wish this state would pass a law, as some jurisdictions have, where if you want to protest, that's your
You can
First
wear more.
Amendment. Exactly. It's your First Amendment right, but you can't wear a mask. As an American Jew, I oftentimes think that there's a little bit of a gap in understanding how Israeli Jews understand the American Jewish community. And I'm wondering if you
Mhm.
can talk a little bit about that, because, certainly we are not having to run to our bomb shelters here. We are not living with the threat of Iran attacking us on a daily basis. So we don't have those pressures here. Yet, we do have other pressures, societal pressures and just daily life pressures. And I'm just wondering if you can talk about that gap, or at least that understanding.
So there's, first of all, I have a lot of things to say about that because me as an Israeli that just came to the States and started to do advocacy here, I all of a sudden realized how important it is to say that it's not we in Israel and you guys in the States because you don't live in Israel. It's us because we are united as one, because we are the Jewish nation as a general, as a whole. Because right now, October 7th, it's our horrible days as a nation, and not just because of the fact that we live in Israel, because I feel like a lot of American Jews after October 7 happened, they felt a lot of guilt because they weren't in Israel, because they felt like they're not doing enough. But I'm I've been exposed to the amount of love that American Jews have towards Israel and the way they feel about Israel and the amazing things that they are doing, that to me, sometimes I don't know how we would have survived without them, without all of the things that they're doing, because for them it's just going to fundraising events to do barbecues for soldiers, but for us, without these kind of things, we couldn't survive this. We need the support as as long as they need Israel. So it's something that to me, American Jews need to understand that as Israelis, we need you. I know a lot of time they're saying that Israel is they need Israel, but they need to understand that Israel needs them as well as they need us. So to me, I've noticed that just when I was here, because as I was in Israel, I never saw this amount of love. I never been exposed to the American Jewish communities. And after being here and seeing all, it's amazing. It's crazy to think that people are doing everything. People are stopping their life just as we stopped our life, but it's two different wars because we have their war, but they're fighting a different kind of war. And that's something that we should all respect and we should all see and say thank you for each other for everything.
I'm going to invoke chazak, chazak, v'nit chazek.
Yeah.
Did it surprise you the level of anti-Israel hatred here in the
Yeah.
United States when you got here?
So it didn't surprise me as much as I thought it would. Because we do, like, we see everything on Twitter, we see all the hate on Instagram. Obviously, when I posted video about Israel when it just started, I got so much hate, and I knew what I was going for.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like it's different when you are seeing things via Instagram or Twitter or things like that, or you're actually seeing people protesting and speaking nonsense about things they have no idea about, and seeing their hate in their eyes. I feel like to me this is the most, like, awful thing, because you're
Mm-hmm.
looking at them, they're filled with hate. And when you see like comments on Instagram, so it's like sometimes you just ignore it. But when you see someone hating on you just because he knows that you're either, even they don't even know that we're Israelis or Jews. They know is that we support Israel, so they hate us.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like that's a big difference. That's a big difference than knowing and feeling.
Noa, just a couple more questions about your advocacy work, and then we'll move on to your work as a medic and some other topics as it relates to you. You are big on social media. What is your message to those of us that aren't Noa on social media, in terms of getting involved, in terms of acting or reacting on social media. Can you share
Yeah.
any thoughts?
In social media or in general?
Let's do in general, but if you can also focus on social media, because I think there are a lot of times, I know I'm speaking for
Yeah.
myself, where I see something and I want to respond. And sometimes I do respond, and then other times I don't respond because I think I'm just adding fuel to the fire and the
Yeah.
algorithm is just going to be read such that it gets boosted up
Um,
there. So I'm just wondering, looking for guidance actually from you.
Yeah, no, so I understand. Like, I would have said in general, and that's something that I've been saying to a lot of college students that are approaching me and asking me, what do you think that they should do? What do I think that they should do? And I always say to them that sometimes we need to understand that these people are spreading hate because they hate and they don't really care about the fact. So if it's your college and you're going every single day, you can do your advocacy work just by the small things. You can even put your Star of David and be super nice to everyone. And then everybody will connect between your Star of David and the fact that you are the nicest person ever. So even if you're not fighting the advocacy work and talking to them and engaging with them, because sometimes it can be very dangerous if you're going every day to the same place. And people should understand because everybody's saying you should be as loud as and proud as you can. But I think that personally, I think that they shouldn't risk their life because eventually all they want to do is go to school and get their degrees. And there's a big difference between online advocacy and real life advocacy because a lot of times you can risk yourself and your future for a bunch of people that probably won't listen. Um, that's what I would say to, because your advocacy work when you're in your day-to-day life, you can engage with them only if you see that they are open to listen or that are in between. Because the people that are just spreading hate probably won't listen if you'll just come and approach them and ask them, hey, can I speak with you about the truth and about the fact? So that's what I think on like real life advocacy for people that are not doing it 24/7, that just like want to speak with people. And about the online, I completely understand. Actually, one of my best friends here, she's telling me that she see all the stupid things they're saying and all the lies they're spreading, and she can't resist. And she has to respond to every stupid video. She's getting into so much Instagram fight with people. And I understand where she's coming from because it's so annoying to see so many people spreading the most ridiculous things ever. But at the same time, we really have to remember that whenever we do one comment, even if we're watching the video twice, it shows the algorithm of Instagram that we are interested in it. So we have to not engage with them, even though that they're saying the most stupid things. The way that we should react is just to spread the real information instead of giving platform for false information and false videos. You should take these videos and share the real videos, the advocacy videos that we are doing, that our side is doing, whether if it's influencers or IDF or the state of Israel. Stand with us. There's so many people that are doing amazing advocacy. And I feel like our time on social media should be focusing on spreading the truth and not supporting the hate. That's
Yeah, and said a different way is don't add fuel to the fire. Is that
exactly.
is that if we're going to spend time on social media, show the truth and show really the beauty
Yeah.
of Israel and the truth of what's going on versus again adding fuel to the fire. And I also, Noah, love the idea again of being proud, maybe wearing a chai or wearing a Star of David or some or for a gentleman to wear a kippot, etc.
Yeah.
And just especially be especially nice to everybody because again,
Yes.
they're going to make that association. It's all about being positive. Um,
Exactly.
as they say in politics, when they go low, we go high.
Yeah. So when they're spreading hate, we're spreading love and we're spreading the truth, but in a safer way. Because for people that are not doing advocacy every day, to them risk their entire career, degree, I feel like it's not worth it for people that are not willing to listen. So they have to take, I feel like everybody should be careful about it.
I like that. Well, thank you for that because I was going to ask you what your message is for kids on college campuses as
Yeah.
everyone's going back to school. And so that would be your message. Is there anything else that you want to share with them?
Just that everybody's with them. It's not only the Jewish communities, it's all of the Israelis. Everybody is with them, standing behind them, and we're just proud of you that you are represented us in these colleges, and just to have a safe and good year.
Amen. I want to move on then and talk about your work as a medic. But before we do that, Noah, where were you on October 7th?
So on October 7th, I was in my home. I live in the center of Israel, in a small village, a Moshav. It's called Moshav Pnei Atarot. And I remember waking up like everyone 6:30 a.m.
Mhm.
to the sounds of the alarms. And yeah, that was it. I feel like that's the moment that our life changed because we started to see everything that happened on Telegram and on the TV news, and we were in shock. I remember my dad was a pilot in the IDF Air Force, and he was a pilot commander. He was a squad commander. He was very high ranked, and I remember him screaming at the TV, what's going on?" He didn't understand anything, and we were standing in front of the TV, crying, frustrating. We had no idea what's going to happen. And I actually didn't knew that they were going to enlist me because my official military role was a combat medic commander and instructor. So I had to teach people in theory, but I've never even treated anyone my entire life.
Really?
Yeah, never.
But
And
you
then
but you taught people how to treat other
I used
people.
to, yeah, exactly. But it was just in theory. It
Right.
was never on a real life person. It was always on dolls, on like practice classes, but it was never for real. So my first impression of why they need to enlist me was maybe I need to do like refreshment courses for combat medics. Um, I had no idea what's going to happen. So I remember that I knew that they were going to enlist me, but they haven't received a call from them yet. So I went to my closet, opened the drawers, and just I remember myself staring at like very funny, but at a socks drawer, and I was staring at it, and I had no idea how many socks I should take with me because it's like the most random thing, and it's something that for us looks like, oh, okay, it's like you need to take 7 pairs of socks for
Mhm.
every day, but we didn't really knew how days are we going to stay there. So I was so confused, and to me that moment represented the chaos that happened in Israel, and at October 7th, that nobody knows anything about anyone. We had no idea what's going to happen. We knew that there's going to be a war, but we were we were very, very stressed about everything. So then I packed my bags. I just had like a bag if someone needs me. And then obviously I got the call. I got enlisted. Had to go to my military base, and there they told us that we are going to do like a re-combat medic course. So the first months of war, we were in the south of Israel doing a lot of simulators and just learning how to be combat medics again. And then they took us to the border of Gaza, and we started to treat soldiers, Palestinians, everybody that needed help.
So this is so interesting. This was your first time. This is what we call baptism by fire,
Yeah.
because you were actually having to serve as a medic on real people rather than on dolls and rather than in a classroom. And what was that
Mhm.
experience then like for you, Noah?
It was very scary because also I wasn't really a combat soldier, not let alone like a combat medic, which is something that I knew because I had knowledge. I knew what's my steps. I knew what I'm going to do, but I've never even thought about the fact that I would ever need to act as a combat soldier, that I would have to carry a gun with me, that I would have to sleep in the field in sleeping bags in the middle of war, when you're hearing everything that happened inside of Gaza, when you're under constant threat for your life. So to me, everything was brand new. Everything was so scary. Everything was was a whole different world for me, because my first military role was my like original military role. I used to teach people in classrooms like a teacher. So I saw the IDF very differently than what I saw the IDF in war. So all of a sudden, you're sleeping in a tent, you're not taking showers, you're spending your day in the border of Gaza, scared, terrified to even go to the bathroom at night because it's so dark and you have no idea where you are. You're so close to the border of Gaza. And at the same time, you know that you're 24 hours on call because you have to go and treat people. So you don't want to go on call because also you know that soldiers are going to be hurt. And it means whenever you get a call, it means that something happened inside of Gaza. So it was like a range of emotions because we were scared, we were terrified, we were confused, we were all these bad feelings, but at the same time, we also were very proud. We felt whole. We felt like we're doing so much work. We felt like we're living the pages in history, like we are writing the pages in history of Israel. So for us, it's very hard to experience all these emotions in 24 hours, because in 24 hours you're seeing things that I'm 25 years old. I've never even thought that I'll see blood in my entire life. And you're hearing, you're smelling, you're doing so many things that you're not used to. So it's very hard on your soul. But at the same time, your soul feels so, I don't know how to explain it, but it's like your soul feels like a different person because you're doing so much good things. So it's a whole range of emotion.
I can definitely understand that. And if you don't mind my asking, what were the extent of the injuries that you saw and that you had to treat, Noah?
So actually most of them a lot of shrapnels, because of the bombs and the RPGs, but there was a lot of gun wound, shot, fires, burns. Well, it's war, so there's a lot of injuries, but a lot of them, like most of them, were shrapnels.
And you also treated Hamas terrorists, I understand. And so
Mm.
what were those interactions like?
I can't really say a lot about it, but all I can say is that to me, the fact that Israel is doing everything to treat any person, no matter if he's your loved one or if he is your enemy, so that represent Israel and
Hmm.
that represent the IDF, because Israel and the IDF put value of life first, and we do everything to save lives, no matter if this is our loved enemies. And we do actually every combat medic course, you end the combat medic course with you're taking an oath and you're swearing to protect and save everyone, because you're now a combat medic and your role in life is to save people, no matter who they are.
Including Hamas terrorists.
Yes.
Right. Um, I'm not going to ask about their fate and where they are right now, because that is, as they say, probably above Noah's pay grade. So I will move on with another question. But of course, I have that question in mind. And I think everyone that's listening probably is wondering too. But I want to ask you, though, Noah, were you able at all to speak with any of the soldiers? Um, I mean, clearly they were injured. So I don't think they were probably in a very chatty mood. But to the
Yeah.
extent that you were able to, what were any conversations like that you may remember?
So first of all, we had a lot of conversation with them because they were always in and out of Gaza, and we were right there in the border of Gaza. So they would always come to us. We would drink coffee together. It was very nice. Not only the injured soldiers, even
Mhm.
just like regular soldiers. And I think like the conversations were mostly about the fact that we're going to win, the fact that we are stronger than anyone, the fact that we are united right now, and how much we need the Israeli people to be united, and to support each other, and how moving it is to see all the support that we have right now and all the love that we've been getting, because even at the beginning of the war and even right now, soldiers are getting so much love and soldiers are getting so much support. So that kind of things are the things that are pushing us to do more, to want to stay more, to just to do everything we can for our country. And the conversations was about everything, about fear, about life, about what are we going to do after when the war is over, which country we want to go. Obviously, we all wanted to go just for countries that support Israel. So it's like a new rule that we have. But the conversation was a lot about everything, because when you see so many scary things, it just makes you want to communicate about it and speak about it with everyone.
When I was in Israel in January, I went to Gilad Junction, where the soldiers go for R&R, where they go, to get a great meal, they can get a massage, they can get, take a shower, etc. And the one thing that struck me was the morale, how high the morale was. And I'm sure you wouldn't disagree, right?
Yeah, yeah, it's very high. It's like, because while you're there, while you're serving your country, especially right now in this most horrible time that we've ever experienced as a Jewish nation, so you can't, like, you feel so proud of yourself and you feel like you're doing so many things, and you're actually, like, I used to say it to, I was supposed actually to get released from the military after like 3 months, and then I asked to stay for 2 more months because I felt like there's no way that I'm stopping, because the pages, like right now, we are writing history. And years from now, when my children and the future generation is going to ask me, what have I been doing in the time of war, like when this awful war happened, and I will be able to say that I fought for our country. So to me, it means so much to be able to say that and to be able to show my children how important it is to be in the military, to go to the IDF, to live in Israel.
I really salute you, Noah, because you're an advocate, but you have literally been on the front lines. What would you want people to know about the IDF? Just anything in general, or any misconceptions people have about the
Mm,
IDF, Noah?
misconceptions or something. I feel like just that girls are as welcome as guys, I would say, that there's so much girls and women that are doing amazing things in and out of Gaza and out of like the north, of course. And it's amazing for me to see the coexistency that the IDF has, and the fact that girls can do anything that guys can do, and the fact that just the IDF pushes women to do more and to achieve more. So I just love that. I love seeing that. The
And
women
we
empowerment is amazing.
Yeah, we've had some very senior women IDF members here on IsraelCast, and they're just absolutely remarkable, remarkable people, truly, as you are, Noah, as well. Well, I want to move on then to your modeling career, and really congratulations on your very successful career that you're currently in right now. And we look forward to seeing more and more and more of Noah in the future. And I'm just wondering, in this post-October 7th world, has your work changed? In other words, have you been denied jobs? Have people said, wow, she's an Israeli model, we want to hire her? How has that worked out for you, Noah?
Actually, I haven't really experienced anything like that.
Hmm.
I just experienced good reactions.
Great.
So I'm happy. But I did heard about it from a lot of my friends that are Israelis, that
Hmm.
they felt hate and they felt like they've been denied work because they're from Israel. And I hope, I don't know, I always say, I remember saying to them that, like, if people don't want to work with you because you're from Israel, so we don't want to work with them because we are from Israel. So I feel like that's the mentality right now.
But so far, Noah is doing okay.
Yeah.
That's good to hear. That's really, really good to hear. And we really send a lot of love to those models that are having difficult times. And I
Yeah.
agree with you, what you just said. Well, listen, before we move on, this would be a really good time, Noa, for me to share with all of our dear listeners something I teased out at the very top of the show, that Jewish National Fund USA's Global Conference for Israel will be taking place, mark your calendars, everyone, from November 14th to the 17th in Dallas, Texas. Have you been to Dallas, by the way, Noa?
Actually, I haven't.
You know what? That makes two of us. I've been to other states in Texas, but I have not yet been to Dallas. And of course, growing up, I was a huge fan of the TV show Dallas. So I'm very much looking forward to going to Dallas, if for no other reason than to attend the Global Conference for Israel. It's a conference filled with solidarity, inspiration, tactical and practical solutions for standing up against Jew hatred. And really, it's a way of teaching people how to be a voice for Israel, something that we talked about just a moment ago. And I have found these conferences so incredibly energizing, and I really can't wait for this one. And there are some stellar speakers, which will include Colonel Richard Kemp, whom we've had here on the show, actor and comedian Michael Rappaport, who is an absolute rock star, broadcaster and activist Emily Austin, founder of MACA, Elizabeth Rand, that's Mothers Against Campus Antisemitism, and also Rabbi David Wolpe, who is a real force of nature. They're all going to be speaking, and so many others. And we encourage everyone in earshot, or if you're watching this on YouTube, yes, we are on YouTube, to go to jnf.org, and you'll see a link there, once again, for the Global Conference for Israel, November 14th to the 17th in Dallas, Texas. And of course, we're talking about 2024. And I can't wait to see everybody there. I'm so excited about that. Well, speaking of travel and speaking of things maybe global, that's a nice segue into Noa as Miss Israel 2021 and the Miss Universe contest, which was held in Eilat in 2021. And I first want to go back to you, though, as a contestant, because as I understand it, you were a nature-loving girl. You never wore makeup. You never even owned a pair of heels. So how did
Yeah.
you make it from that to Miss Israel and the world stage of the Miss Universe pageant?
So that's actually a funny story, because I was just very sad after a breakup, and my mom decided to cheer me up by signing me into a Miss Israel competition. And then I
By
found
the way,
myself.
we should say that your mother is she was a military psychologist, right?
Yeah, I was a military psychologist, so
So
she
she
knew
knew
what she was doing.
she knew what she was doing there. She had your back and she knew what was best
Yeah.
for her daughter. Yes.
Yeah, so she signed me up for this, and I initially I didn't really want to go, but then I decided that yeah, sure, I'll go. And then I went, and I was surrounded by models, by professional models, and for me it was the first time ever even putting on like professional makeup, and I was so confused. It was so nice though. And then I won, which was amazing experience for me because everything was new. And actually, that's very funny because they had to teach me how to do my makeup. So they took me to a makeup lessons, hair lessons, high heels lesson. They needed to like educate me about normal girls things. But I'm so grateful that I did it because now I love fashion, heels, and makeup. So
As they say, Noah, mother knows best.
yeah, mother, she did know best. Yeah.
Well, that's really your story is funny because, as I mentioned before we started rolling, we had TT Ayanau here on the program. She, of course, was Miss Israel 2013, and she's a model. She's become a friend. I think she's just a sensational person. And
Yeah.
she said that she entered the contest. I think someone entered it for her, if I'm not mistaken, because they wanted to win a car, because that
Yeah.
was the top prize. So her
Right.
impetus was that car. It wasn't to become a beauty queen. And sure enough, she won. And then she went to the Miss Universe contest herself. So, what was it like then for you being a contestant, yet also being a host? Because the contest was held in Eilat. That
Mhm.
was for Miss Universe 2021. It was held in Eilat. And so, what was that like for you? And if you can talk about the interaction with the other contestants from, what was it, 82 countries?
Yeah. So actually that was an amazing experience. Obviously it happened before October 7th, But the way I saw things back then was, okay, we have these girls. They are first time here in Israel. We need to show them our country. We need to show them how beautiful our country is. We need to speak with them about coexistency, about our IDF, about everything. So I decided that my goal is not to win the Miss Universe crown. It was never my goal, actually, not even when I first started the Miss Israel competition. And my goal right now is just to be a good host for these girls and to speak with them, to engage with almost every single one of these girls and to educate them about Israel, because they came with so many wrong opinions about Israel. It was crazy. And they were just, I remember one of the girls was oh, I've heard that Israel is a place with the desert and the camels, right? And so they knew basically nothing about Israel. So I felt like that's my goal from now on, to speak about Israel, to talk about Israel. So maybe this whole advocacy journey even started there in Miss Universe. But basically, I remember that I felt that I did show them so much of Israel, and I got so many messages from them after the competition ended that they loved Israel. That it's an amazing place. They really want to go back. They want to go visit, not on the Miss Universe platform, just as tourists, and to see and to explore and to be in Israel. And then October 7th happened. And I was actually shocked, because to me, the way we left things, they were obsessed with Israel. They loved Israel. So when October 7 happened, I sent them, we have a WhatsApp group of all of the girls. I sent them a message, hi girls. I sent them a picture of me with my IDF uniforms. I just want to tell you what's going on here in Israel. And at first, the first few days when the rest of the world love us, so they were showing support. They were like, save your, be careful, be safe. We are with you. But then 2 days after, I started to send them every little thing that happened on Nova, about the kidnapped, about everything, the hostages. And I translated the worst documents that Israel sent, and I translate every single horrible thing that happened, and none of them replied. So it happened for about 2 months. I was messaging them so many messages about the war. I wanted to get them involved. I wanted their voice. They had an amazing impact while they were in Israel. They were posting so many stories. They were posting so many pictures from Israel. And now when we need them, when we need their voice, when we need people to see that this is not a genocide or stupid things that other people are saying online, they were silenced. And to me, the worst part is that these women are supposed to support women empowerment, and these women are supposed to be feminist. And how can you stay quiet while other things, horrific things, are happening to Israeli women, to Jewish women, and the rest of the world doesn't even believe Israeli women and Jewish women? So how can you stay quiet while you were in Israel, while you were supposedly supposed to be someone who is fighting for women equality and for women's rights? So how can you stay quiet? How can you not use your voice, use your platform, do anything you can to support and educate? And they didn't even reply to my messages. So I remember at one point, all I wanted for them, not even to post, not even to say something online about Israel. I was so annoyed by the fact that they're not even replying to me. So I said, hey girls, I know that you may be not agreeing with everything I have to say, but first of all, these are facts. Second of all, if you don't believe me, speak with me, communicate with me. I would love to speak with each and every single one of you, just to communicate about everything that has been going on. And if you want to know information, just ask me. I'm literally fighting this war right now from the front lines. Whenever you need to know, whenever you want to speak with me, I'm here for you. I just want to communicate. I just want to have peaceful conversation with you guys. And they still haven't replied. So to me, I feel like there's a lot of hypocrisy on that matter, because I thought, obviously, when they left Israel, that we did such a good job educating about Israel. But sometimes it's not popular to love Israel, so it's on them.
So not one of them has contacted you as a person.
Maybe 3 girls, something like that.
And that's it. We're talking
82 girls.
from 82.
And about 40 to 50 of them unfollowed me because I do advocacy.
Do we want to say which ones?
I would love to say there's so many.
Do you want to?
The
Let's get.
list.
We should. I'm almost tempted to call them out. We don't have to say their names. We can say which countries.
A lot of countries. That's all I'll have to say. But
Yeah.
they were I was very disappointed out of them, even girls that I thought that were my friend in the competition. For example, my roommate, a girl that slept with me for 2.5 weeks in the same room, shared a room with me. We shared all our secrets. We were like best friends during the competition. And when I spoke with her, she was saying that she can't speak about politics. And then I said, but wait, how is hostages that are being held in Gaza that are citizens is politics? How does it make sense? She never replied. She didn't even ask me how I was, how my family was. So yeah.
Do I dare ask which country she's from? And if you're not comfortable, Noah, we can move on.
People can see, people can find who was
Okay.
my
All right. All right.
If someone is very interested, you
we're
can
gonna
find it
got it.
on my
We'll have
Instagram.
people investigate. Well, I'm so sorry you've had to go through that, but I think it really speaks to the moment that we're living in right now. As you
Yeah.
said, these are what happened to Israeli women is unconscionable. Not only the girls at the Nova Festival and the kibbutzim, but the Bibas mother, for example, and the girls that were all taken as hostages. I mean, it's unconscionable. And for them not even just to reach out and say, Noah, I'm supporting you, or Noah,
Yeah.
I'm thinking of you, just you as Noah as a human being because I know you, to me really is very, very telling, as they say. There was a big, do you know the word kerfuffle, what that means? It means
And
sort
to
of like,
Israel, to
it
know
means
it.
it means sort of like a balagan, okay? There
Oh,
was a
okay.
bit of a balagan though there that I do want to ask you about at the Miss Universe pageant, and that was uh, vis-a-vis Miss South Africa, Lalela Maswane, because her country didn't want her to go to the pageant because it was
Yeah.
in Israel, given South Africa's
It's like,
alignment, shall we say, boycott with the Palestinians. Yet she ended up going, and she ended up coming in third.
yeah.
Okay. And then I understand I did a little bit of homework, and it's amazing the things you learn when you're hosting IsraelCast, because I learned that there's something called Miss Supranational, and she became Miss
Yeah.
Supranational
Yeah. Something like
2022.
that.
Right.
Yeah.
So it worked out for her. But the point is, I'm just wondering because they were boycotting Israel, but she still went. So were you in touch with her in Israel? And what was that interaction like? And what was her response to being in Israel?
So she loved Israel, like every single one of the girls, because we truly took them not only to the best places, we showed them. I even if in every restaurant that we went to, I always told them, look at the menus. We have Arabic, we have in Hebrew, and we have English. And they were so impressed about the fact that like we have the best coexistency, the best food, the best everything, the best people. Everybody was so kind to them. So as each and every single one of these girls, they loved Israel. So she loved Israel as well. And we spoke a lot about Israel actually. And we spoke a lot about the fact that she still came to the competition. And she told me that she will never let politics stop her from doing what she wanted to do. So I'm proud of her for still showing up.
Hmm.
Uh, it meant a lot back then, and I wish she would also use that power now
Hmm. You know,
after seeing
yeah,
that.
Noah, I'm really hoping because life is long, and I'm hoping that after October 7th, um, and when the I don't want to say when the truth comes out because the truth has come out, but certainly maybe when the truth hits these women in the head, if you will, I'm really hoping that the seeds that were planted there by you will come to fruition and that they'll come to their senses. I'm really hoping that one
So,
day, really one day, that will indeed happen. So interestingly, you were the last Miss Israel that was sent to a Miss Universe pageant, and then subsequently Israel did not send contestants. And I'm wondering if you can talk about that and the reasons why.
I don't really know the reasons why. I've heard about it from the news
Hmm.
actually, because I thought that they're supposed to be hosting a new competition, and then it didn't happen. And I just saw a news article about it, like everybody else, and I just realized that I'm the last one, which is kind of nice. I won't lie.
But you think you will be the last one, or will Israel send? Because I remember reading at the time something to the effect of the committee felt that it wasn't in line with really what women are about today, that it's really just sort of, you know, a pageant in the spirit of years gone by, and women
Mhm.
have evolved since then.
Yeah. First of all, I feel like there's a lot of changes that has to be done. Not only like Miss Israel did a lot of changes, but Miss Universe hasn't. I feel like there's a lot of changes need to be done in Miss Universe pageant.
Hmm.
But at the same time, I would say that most of the girls that are coming to compete in Miss Universe competition, they're not just models. They're not just pretty girls. They're girls with a lot of achievements. They're girls that are going to business, like they have been doing so much, not only volunteer works but also education work, like education wise, they're amazing women. And I feel that Miss Universe organization should take that and focus on their life and not focus on their bikini posing and evening gown posing. I feel like they should focus more on the personality. And yeah, we can say that it's okay that a woman is beautiful, and it's okay to do that. But at the same time, they should take their platform, because they have a huge platform, and to do it in a more 2024 way.
That's a nice way of putting it. So I'm guessing, like, say for example, Miss Lebanon wasn't in Israel, and Miss Iraq, and Miss
You are the number one supporter. What are you talking about?
who was that?
Yeah, Miss Lebanon.
But she
No,
wasn't in. You're
she
joking, of
wasn't.
course. Yeah, but did you have a Miss Egypt there?
I think we did. We had a Miss Bahrain also.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
So that's good.
It's good. It was good. She
Yeah.
have had a very nice time in Israel, but now her story is basically all eyes on Rafa, so it's not that good.
Exactly. And like I said, I'm very hopeful, and I'm hoping again that those seeds that you planted will germinate one day, hopefully after the war is over very soon, and that we will see the fruits of what you've planted, and that these women will come to their senses.
Yeah,
Indeed.
I hope.
Well, listen, I always like to round out our conversations on a very high note. And I know actually, Noah, as I said, I believe at the top of the show, you're a woman of many talents, you have many facets. And I'd like you to talk about your being a pastry chef. And yes, listeners, you heard that correctly. Noah is a pastry chef.
Yeah, that's actually very funny, because before I was Miss Israel slash activist, I got released from the military, and I really wanted to study how to become a pastry chef, because I loved baking, I loved cooking. My favorite thing to do is chalot on Friday, so it's like the best thing ever. So I
Well,
really
no,
wanted to.
Noah, you know my address, so feel free to
I do.
deliver anytime. Yes. Anyway,
And then I just went into a culinary school, and I studied both in Israel and in France, and it was an amazing experience. Now I get to say that my future husband and future children will be very chubby, because I will just feed them with desserts all the time. And that's the best experience you can ever get. Even if it's not my profession now, it's the best hobby. It's like a meditation for me. I love cooking for people. I love feeding people, because I'm Israeli. That's what we do. We just feed people. And it's just the best thing that you can have. Just even the ability to say that you can make any dessert that you want.
do you have a specialty or favorite? You said you like making chalot, but
I love
anything else?
making for Friday. Also babka cakes. I love it. Yeah, just love seeing people. Like, I don't care what to make, just like I love watching the people eat it. That's the best thing.
So, Noah, people that know me very well know that I travel a lot. And they also know that whenever I travel, I always take cinnamon babka with me wherever
Really.
I go. Yes, because for several reasons. Number one, well, by the way, it makes your luggage smell great. But apart from that, is that you never know when you're going to be invited to someone's home or you
Mm.
need an unexpected gift to give to somebody. And I feel like this is such a nice gift and it's a taste of New York and it's something special and something different that they might not get otherwise. So I always travel with babka. So I'd love to hear actually that you're a babka maker as well. Did you ever think about opening up a restaurant or a patisserie or something?
I thought about it actually in Israel.
Hmm. It's very difficult.
Very difficult. It's a very
Yeah.
difficult field. It's very hard.
Hmm.
Maybe in the future. I would
Well,
never
I'm
say.
Well, I'll tell you, I'm going to connect you with the folks from the Galilee Culinary Institute, which is a JNF project. It's a new culinary center being built in Kiryat Shmona, and it's an international culinary center where people are going to be learning more than just knife skills, but the business of running a
Nice.
restaurant, for example, or the marketing, or the photography, or the back end, the back of the house of running an eating establishment, but also knife skills, and it's going to be very much farm to table, given where it is up there in the north,
Yeah.
in the Galilee. So I'll definitely hook you up with them because there might be some nice synergy there between you
Yep.
and the folks up there. How is it though? Final question that you don't weigh 1,200 pounds with all of this baking and cooking.
Because I love to work out a lot, so I feel
Okay.
like it makes up for it. But I would never say no to a chocolate cake. So
And on that note, we're going to leave it right there. And that's why we love you so much, Noah, because no one would say no to a piece of
no.
chocolate cake. Listen, this has
Yeah.
really been so inspiring. I want to thank you so much
Thank you
for
so
joining
much.
us here on IsraelCast. We hope this is truly one of many times that you'll join us here on the program. So thanks so much. And we'll have info about Noah on the show notes page of our website, jnf.org/IsraelCast. And of course, we do release new episodes of the show every other Wednesday. I have no idea why you would want to miss an episode. And just so you never miss an episode, do subscribe to us wherever you get your podcast. It's so easy. Simply search for IsraelCast and don't forget to rate and review us because that really helps with our rankings, which in turn make it easier for more folks around the world to find us. Or you can always enjoy the show by visiting us at our website. Once again, it's jnf.org/IsraelCast. And as I always say, it takes a whole shop to put IsraelCast together. For that, we thank Vivian Grossman, Stefan Oberman, JD Krebs, and Ellie Kodrin. Our editors are Jay Rothman and James Casada from Miratone Studios right here in the very heart of New York City. And the music that you hear at the top until the program is titled My Eden. It's by the very talented Rafi Malkiel from his album Water on the Tzaddik label. IsraelCast is powered by Jewish National Fund USA, your voice in Israel. For more info about JNF USA and once again that global conference taking place in Dallas, Texas, November 14th to 17th, we encourage you to visit jnf.org. And if you'd like to write to us with story ideas or just to say hello, I know Noah would love to hear from you, and so would I. So do email us at
Love questions.
israelcast@jnf.org. Right,
Of
Noah? I know you'd love to hear from our listeners, right?
course, there's nothing I love more than Q&A.
All right. So
People
you
have
heard,
questions, I'm telling you.
yes, they have a lot of questions and they can write them in at israelcast@jnf.org and we'll pass them along to you, Noah. But meantime, I'm Steven Shalowitz. Thank you for tuning in and looking forward to having you join us on future episodes of IsraelCast.
Thank you so much. Have a good week for everyone.
You too. Take care.